and welcome back to the Play Action Podcast. I'm Nina.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Mallory.
Today, we'll be interviewing Mr. Peter Scott about his experience in creative consumer technology. Following our conversation, we'll have a roundtable discussion on consumerism and emotions in sport fandom. Just as a preface, we want to note that Avery and Chase are not here today. They're getting ready for tomorrow's game against SMU. Go Tigers. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Mr. Peter Scott to the podcast. Pete graduated from Boston College with a Bachelor of Arts degree focused in broadcasting and film, and then completed a postgraduate program in artificial intelligence for leaders at the Texas McCombs School of Business. He has an impressive career in the digital field, working for Turner Sports News Media, Turner, Warner Media, and in the AI industry with Hyperminds. And Pete currently serves as the Agentic AI Evangelizer at Play Anywhere. Welcome, Pete. We're really grateful to have you on today.
Yeah, thank you. The only thing I would say is if anybody from Boston University, because I graduated Boston University and we never liked Boston College, boo. So I actually graduated from the Terriers, the Mighty Terriers, from Boston University, not Boston College. So
Okay,
just
sorry.
that's it. No worries, no worries. I just know that if this was somewhere seen by any of my alumni friends, I'd be shot. So just want to make sure I get that.
Fair, fair.
Thank you for being here. I'll pass it on to Annie.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So again, thanks so much for being here. I know Fridays can be super busy, but we're all excited to talk to you. And so I just wanted to kind of jump right in. I know Nina kind of described some of your background, but could you kind of share more about some of your previous roles at your job and kind of what you
hmm
did, and then kind of how you got to your current position today?
Yeah, no problem, Annie. So, hi, everybody. Thank you for making me part of your podcast. I graduated Boston University a long time ago, and at the time, CNN was basically recruiting kids out of college to move to Atlanta, Georgia. And so I was lucky enough to get a position down there and worked in the CNN newsroom for about 6 years and sort of traveled the world, war zones, big events, and did everything from being an editor to sound tech, and every once in a while jump behind the camera. And really, really, really great experience. And then I moved into sports after news and really became familiar on how to run events, right? Like
Mhm.
that's probably what your colleagues do. They're running their event for the game tomorrow. And that was what I did. So logistically, would hire the crews that would shoot the game, do the budgets, work with the stadiums, work with the teams in the leagues to sort of organize that and do the logistics. And then I just saw a lot of things moving from traditional broadcast to what in those days they called the web. And
Mhm.
people wanted to go through digital transformation and really sort of how do I get my content onto these other channels. And then I left and worked for foxsports.com out in LA. And that was a great experience because they were going through that digital transformation. And I'm proud to say we were the first ones to stream a college football game between the University of Nebraska and San Jose State
Oh, neat.
on foxsports.com. And yeah, it was a really interesting story because a lot of the fans didn't know where to watch the game. So I get really interesting phone calls like, hey, do I just need to put a computer on the bar? And then everybody just watches the game. So that was kind of the start. And then I moved back to Atlanta and finished up my career operating and managing a lot of different websites on behalf of the leagues. So we operated and managed NASCAR, NBA, PJ Tour, Ryder Cup,
Mhm.
and March Madness. And we became the preferred vendor that a lot of these leagues entrusted to operate and manage all of their digital rights, whether it was how do we create an iPad, how do we create Roku apps, et cetera. And then towards the end of my career, I basically was the guy who was future-proofing the company. So I'd sit in a room with sort of an older generation and say, this is TikTok, and this is what TikTok does, and we need to be paying attention to it as a company, even This is vertical video instead of horizontal video,
Hmm.
where people consume on phones vertical video. And I did that. And then I left the company about 3.5 years ago, like Nina said, to sort of jump into the AI space because it's becoming such an important role in how content is created, how monetization happens through AI. So I launched my own company called Play Anywhere, and we're doing a lot of things around interactivity.
Hmm.
So if you're watching a Clemson football game and you want to buy a jersey, we allow you to buy a jersey in 2 clicks. If
Hmm.
you're interested in stats around the game, we provide stats, video clips. In some places, we even allow you to place a bet. And on the entertainment side, same thing. You're watching Love Island. You see a girl with a nice bathing suit and you want to buy that bathing suit. We enable all of those functions to happen, book a hotel room and the location
Hmm.
they are, et cetera. So, that's what we're basically doing today and just having a ball, doing it. And I think the key, in your program is, get your hands dirty, right? Play with AI,
Hmm.
understand how it works, you know, um, cut video, understand all the different platforms because when you
Hmm.
get out, that's really going to differentiate yourselves from a lot of other people that are graduating and feeling comfortable and understanding that I think will help your careers in the future.
Hmm. Okay, so you said that you recently just launched your own company.
Yep.
So what's been some of the challenges that you guys have faced with developing a new company when it comes to
Mhm.
like everything's changing so quickly?
Yeah, I think the biggest part is just staying on top of things and understanding how AI can work for Clemson. Let's just use an example. If AI was sitting on top of the Clemson ticketing database, and they knew that tomorrow's game against SMU, it probably never happens, but you needed to sell 5,000 seats. How could they go into that database very quickly
Hmm.
and get information about people who might be interested in SMU or from Texas or have an affinity? And how do you query that database very quickly to pull the information up? And how you would do that with an agent, ChatGPT is an agent, so you ask questions to it all the time. You could have people in the Clemson ticketing office literally ask, hey, SMU's coming to town. We have 5,000 seats that we need to sell. Who in our database has affinities around SMU or might be from Dallas, Texas, that we haven't asked or requested for them to buy tickets? And this is becoming sort of one of many different things that AI is being used for in on and off the field. On the field, a lot of heuristics. So a lot of the athletes that are at Clemson will wear wearables that will determine their heart rate, their speed,
Hmm.
etc. And that also goes into a database. So can you imagine during the week when a particular cross-country runner is wearing the wearable and a trainer can track his or her performance, they can ask that question, right? Should Pete Scott run in the meet this week based on the data that she or he has been having? So what you're
Hmm.
doing is AI, like ChatGPT, is allowing you to go into local databases and be able to extract really valuable information where data is stored. But the key is it's democratized, meaning you don't need special people from business intelligence or business analytics to basically pull that information. You can empower everyone through, say, a Clemson athletic AI agent that allows to query maybe
Hmm.
heuristics, tickets, concessions, maybe even travel, all those different things. So that's where, particularly in your world, where I think AI could be super, super helpful.
Hmm. So you also kind of mentioned like you kind of just have to jump in and get your hands dirty. Do you have any
Hmm.
other advice for someone like we're in college who want to get into this space but
Yeah.
don't really know how?
Yeah, I mean, Andy, what I will always say is kind of what you proactively do, and I told Nina this summer, is you just have to get internships. You have to either work for
Hmm.
the school, you have to work outside of the school, you have to keep going to events. I live in New York City, and there's probably an AI event every night in the city.
Hmm.
So the key is as a college student, it's super competitive out here in the world and enjoy your college experience. But I think the key is if you can do internships that are related to something you're interested in and build your
Hmm.
network. That's another big thing I would definitely subscribe you to do is once you have an internship, how can you build the network that you met in that internship? And how do you differentiate yourself from everybody when you get out of school so that you can ask Mr. Scott, hey, I did the internship. Do you have any open? Oh, yeah, it's you, Annie. Yeah, I have this
Hmm.
position, and they'll be thinking about you. And I think
Hmm.
um, the more skill set you bring to the table, I think there's a window now where your generation could be super helpful in doing the things that I just suggested. How could you bring AI into the workplace? How can you say, hey, I got this. I use AI to create marketing campaigns for social, or I use AI
Hmm.
to create video clips. So I'm very, very familiar. And then the second one I would say is just be proactive, meaning that if you're applying for a job or an internship, where could you look at that company and be um, where you can provide advice? Well, if I was running your company or if I was in the marketing department, here's some thoughts. Here's some ideas that
Hmm.
I would be doing or trying to think about so that you're bringing something to them. You're not just sitting there in a cold interview, sort of with a blind look on your face. And then
Hmm.
probably the third thing, do your homework. You could quickly go into ChatGPT and let's just say, you're applying for an internship at Nike, right? So you
Hmm.
could quickly say, give me the top 10 strategies for Nike this year. How do I understand what those strategies are? And then ask ChatGPT, maybe based on my resume, I shared this with Nina, what skill sets that I have that can help Nike be successful? Because I think all the data is there. And it's sort of embarrassing if you walk into an interview and you're not prepared when all the
Hmm.
data between LinkedIn, what college or high school he or she went to, there's an affinity there. Those are all just sort of simple things that you can prepare yourself when you go for these positions. And I think the ones that make that effort and then also maybe come in with a solution, maybe a quick PowerPoint, maybe some slides, maybe some video, some
Hmm.
graphics. I think that's super, super important.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so thank you for being here. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
it. And
Yep.
thank you for all your advice. Um,
Yep. No worries. Yeah,
so
whatever I can do.
one of my questions is thinking about AI in the future, how how do you think that AI is going to be able to reach different demographics that don't really have as much wealth as major cities or this kind of like the urban areas in cities? And when do you expect that AI will kind of be incorporated worldwide in those areas?
Well, I mean, I think the beauty of AI is Nina, is it's democratized your ability to learn anything you want or do anything you want. So there's no really excuse anymore that if you wanted to learn about oil and gas, power, sports. I mean, everything is at your fingertips. So any question that you have about something is literally at your fingertips. So in a way, the tool itself, you may have to pay different subscription prices to get access to certain things. $20 for ChatGPT, I think, is the best deal on the planet. It's maybe a couple slices of pizza and a beer. It's like, why wouldn't you want to have that at your fingertips to empower you with information, empower you with how to build slides? So I would say that it's going to democratize uh, information and empower people um, in a way that's never been done before. I mean, you're in the video business now, and so Sora 2, which is part of ChatGPT that came out just recently, more video is going to be created in this year than has ever been created before. But you don't need to be an editor. You don't need to have special graphic skills. You literally can come up with an idea, use Sora. I mean, today we could go into Sora and say, hey, create a video with, a media executive. His name's Pete Scott, being interviewed by Annie, Nina, and Mallory. And you could create that video and you could say, well, what do they want to talk about? And we could literally create that
Yeah.
even upload our pictures to basically have some kind of, resemblance of who we are in the video. So think about the empowerment of that, right? That really anybody, and you're going to see YouTube, I think it's something like 500 hours worth of videos uploaded every minute onto YouTube. Now think when you don't have to be a professional videographer or editor and you can just come up with an idea, right? You can
Yeah.
create anything you want and it will go and build those storylines and those creatives. You just couldn't do that before. And so I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for creative, but I'd say probably the most important thing is how you build your audience. So
Mhm.
you guys know that you have Clemson Tiger fans all over the world, and you're building content for them that you know that they'll open up, right? So you could do a highlight, a press conference of coach, and you know that you could deliver that to the alumni network everywhere, in the world. And how would they get that? And how do you create a value where they wake up every Sunday morning and it's like, this is great. I have a nice highlight. I hear what the coach said. I'm also understanding how recruiting is going. So all these new ways of basically targeting and creating content is going to really just create tons and tons of creative. But I think the most important thing is that data, all the people that are watching your content, who are they? Do they monitor? Do they want to buy a sweatshirt? Do they want to buy a ticket? Do they want, to fund, NIL and helping, the school secure a quarterback from high school? So I think that's what you're going to find AI on the creative side, and then helping on the distribution side, hitting the appropriate people and monetizing that accordingly.
Okay, great. Thank you. Question that I have was, so you're kind of talking about your role as informing the older generation uh,
Hmm.
of advancements in technology and apps and social media and all of that. But going forward in the future, what do you think about for like the younger generations, and how can we stay up to date with all of this, all of these
Hmm.
advancements that are coming so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's two things, right? It's like you gotta, like I said earlier, roll up your sleeves and play with it. And just, it's like everything else. The kids that that are really smart and bright are either computer programming or they're editors. They do their craft and they do it a lot and they do it for a lot of hours. So I think it's just pick a topic that you want to do and just keep, just like you would work out in the gym. You work out in the gym because you want to feel fit, look good, do all those things. You got to really sort of roll your sleeves up and play with it and understand it. And then the beautiful thing, you can always watch videos about how things are created and how things are done. And that's easily another way that, you can empower yourselves to go down that path. And then, as much as you can, being a young person, how do you understand how things were done in the past? Well, how was legacy created? How did coach recruit kids in the past? How is he going to recruit kids in the future? Your social media page, if you really think about it for the Tigers, is a marketing opportunity to showcase high school athletes to come to Clemson. So whether it's the weight room, whether it's the positive speeches from the coaches, that's a mechanism, right? To
Hmm.
basically drive people to come and want to go to Clemson. So I think it's really being appreciative of, you probably working with sort of folks at the stadium and folks inside Clemson athletic department that have been there for 20, 25 years. And they're probably scared about AI and how it works, but be that person that says, hey, I appreciate you. You know things that I don't know, and I will help you bridge that gap that you may be unfamiliar with or uncomfortable about. And I think if you do that, then you'll even be more valuable and more just respectful of what has been done in the past.
Great. Those are some great points. Thank you. I'll
You're
pass it over
welcome.
to Mallory.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Yeah,
This
no
has been
problem now.
awesome.
Yeah.
So my question is kind of on the user data that you might utilize, because
Mm-hmm.
understanding human behavior, I can tell is very important to what you do. So kind of
Mm-hmm.
across demographics, is there like differences in the data that you collect and like the types that you use for like children interacting with the media versus adults?
Yeah, great question. I think for the longest time, people haven't thought of data being a valuable sort of asset. I use the analogy today, a lot of people take their data and they throw it in their basement closet and it's not organized in any way. So what I always tell people, I don't know if you know what California closets are, but
Yes.
you have to basically organize your closet, right? That so that you know where the socks are, the pants are, and very much like your data that Clemson collects or any company collects, how do you organize that data first? So that you can accurately leverage that data and understand, hey, I'm delivering this to a generation under 14 years old, so I have to treat it a different way. I'm sending this to an older generation, I have to treat it this way. But I think the biggest um, recommendation I can say is, you have a brand at Clemson and people are passionate about that brand. And I think if there's a value exchange where you're giving them something that they really want, whether it's that video clip on Sunday, whether that's a discount on the school store, they're going to give you data back. So it always becomes a reciprocal relationship. That if you give me something that's relevant to me, I am willing to give you more data about me. And then you sort of move from the creepy side that, wow, that person's following me, or to the more relevant side where, you're providing discounts because, I have an affinity to ski and I'm seeing a discount and you know that I like to ski. So maybe this discount pushes you to go ski or buy that product in a store. So my biggest thing is sort of clean up that basement closet, understand what's in there. Again, if you have AI sitting on top of it, then Mallory, Annie, and Nina can have access to it at any time they want. But it takes a little bit of time to get that data organized. But just think how the empowerment of what that could be if everybody could use that data really quickly and easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really like the parallel between like providing each other things like that kind of mutual beneficial relationship. Like that makes a lot of sense to me now because I feel like it is so true that people can be skeptical about data collected. But now that you explain like the benefits that we as consumers get out of that, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
thank
all
you
it's
for
always
that.
about it's all Mallory, it's always about the value exchange, right? So
Yes,
you're on TikTok,
absolutely.
you're on Instagram,
Yeah.
you probably bought a bunch of things on Instagram because it knew something about Mallory or knew some signal that you were giving, and you make the decision of whether you want to make the purchase. But maybe it's easier than going to the store, right? Maybe because it knows a little bit of data about you, it's made it easy for you to do that transaction. So I think there's a point where there's relevancy, and if you can figure out where that relevancy is, I think it's super, super helpful because I think everybody's so distracted and there's so many things to be distracted on. If data can be quantified on a one-to-one basis, we're working on this project where we really think the future is you're going to come home and you're going to have an AI agent for your
Mhm.
TV, and it's going to
Yeah.
start to learn what Netflix show you like, you know, what things you like to buy on Amazon. Maybe even puts up a Ring camera so you can see what your parents are doing at their home. You're going to have this experience where you get to customize your own experience at home, and an AI agent will go and fetch those things for you. And you'll start to see that happen a little quicker than you think, but that's relevant to you
Yeah.
because you've given it data. And the AI says, goes, oh, hey, I know you like this, romantic comedy with a particular actor. I've listed all of them here. And it's proactively done that. So that's where it becomes relevant. And then the last thing which you should think about is if AI is going to replace a lot of the work, then a lot of people are going to have free time. So what are people going to do in that free time? And I think you saw that with EA Sports getting bought for $55 billion. That was such a big number. But think about it. If AI starts to sort of increase your leisure time, what are you going to do with it? And that was one of the
Mhm.
big reasons why EA got bought, because there's a huge percentage of people, your friends, probably primarily male, that play video games. So think about that if AI basically allows you to have more leisure time, you may want to play more video games. So that sort of is something to think about in the future too, is once AI solves those problems, what are the other things that people will do when they have that extra free time?
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I kind of want to touch on is kind of like how you navigate the balance between like dealing with these live sporting events and like live attendance versus like we have this very kind of new technology entering the arena, and we've talked about like how online viewing and social media around these events too. How do you kind of navigate or combine like those two things so that we still have that value of like the real time in-person event, but we can also like factor in these new technologies as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think live sports, as you guys know, is the most popular thing that people watch on TV. And I think from that is your base content, but what are you doing to support it? Whether it's a post-game show, whether it's a Monday practice show, whether it's, interviews with players. How are you surrounding that live content with auxiliary content that doesn't necessarily have to be live? And I think there's multiple things that, you can what am I eating for my diet, nutrition? What am I working out? What's my new workout? What's my favorite song? I think there's ways that you can sort of create on-demand video content that people are interested in that I think is sort of leading to the live game. I mean, you guys know better than anyone how many people, whether it's, a 12 o'clock game and everybody starts sort of getting together 8 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's just sort of a tribe that's getting together. But if you can find content that's auxiliary to that tribe and what they're watching, I think you'll find that that's what you should be focusing on. And then deliver that content to that particular tribe. You'll see that that becomes relevant for them. So the stuff that we were talking about, and they'll just engage more, spend more time with the brand, and then you'll be able to sell against it because more people and niches will be able to see it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I love
Yep.
the idea of like the nichification of it and auxiliary content. That's so true. Like it does really surround the live event, and I really love that because I my favorite is like to be there live, of course. But I do also like I think we all enjoy like when Clemson puts something up on social media, like we're on that, and I just I really love the relationship between the two. So thank you so much for talking about
But
that.
yeah, and what I would say to the three of you and the people that watch this podcast is Clemson is a brand, just
Mhm.
like Nike's a brand, just like uh, Coca-Cola is a brand. And so the same muscle that you're using today to promote Clemson football
Mhm.
is going to be the same muscle when you get out of school to help whatever company in their brand strategy, in their marketing strategy. So in a great fortunate way, you're getting your hands dirty today to create a skill set and a muscle that you'll be able to use when you get out of school, because you'll just replace, Tiger football or Tiger athletics with Coca-Cola or with Nike or Apple or Microsoft. And all of those skill sets that you're building today will help you do the same for large brands in the future.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much.
Yep.
That's kind of all the questions I had. Thank you
Okay.
so much for this time. It's
Yep.
definitely been very insightful, probably one of our most insightful chats that we've had on here on this podcast.
Great.
But
Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much for your wisdom and your time today.
Yeah, no problem. And good luck tomorrow. And hopefully, like I told you, my daughter's a Gamecock, so we'll have to just sort of see how that one goes in November. But thanks so much.
Yeah,
I really
Yeah.
me
appreciate
too.
it.
Are we ready?
Uh,
All right.
I gotta like lock in really quick.
I
Okay.
can.
Don't laugh at me. Okay.
Okay, here we are again, and we're back with the whole team this time. We're going to transition right into some roundtable. So, for this roundtable, same as usual, we're going to start right off with Annie. Annie, what do you want to chat about today?
So, hi everyone. I'm gonna open it up for y'all to reply, and kind of talking about mediated sports, being sporting events, and like kind of what that means to each of y'all. I feel like sports are just constantly changing right now with all of the new technology and like media channels and outlets that are connecting us as viewers and fans to the event. It's just kind of like how you think technology is changing sports, I guess.
I mean, like, there's like the easy ones of like, now it's
it's everywhere and like it's all over TV, obviously. But I feel like today something that was really interesting that I know we talked about in class is like the whole idea of like different sports being on different networks now, and it's really hard to like have access to everything that you might want. And I feel like we experienced that too. Like at my house, it's like do we keep paying for, ESPN and Fox Sports and like all of these different YouTube TV? Like we've got like all these different subscriptions, and I feel like that's like one big effect that is getting worse and worse as time goes on and like as everything keeps getting passed around. But yeah, what do y'all think?
I mean, for me, I feel like technology has changed the sports world. I feel like it can bring everybody together. I feel like there's more connectivity because, everybody from different regions or different areas of part of the world are able to connect because, if there's like, soccer games going on like in Spain, Brazil, stuff, all the places like that, there's still people from here, like in the United States, that can connect to like those people are in those areas and all come together and, be fans of those teams. So I feel like being able to see those sports worldwide and just technology has really helped bring all that together. I feel like to bring everyone together to watch the sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I feel like because there's so many like ways to view sporting events now and like truly be in the moment without being there in person, it's like I feel like now more than ever people are sports fans, like have a bigger attachment to their teams and are just all around more connected.
Yeah, that really translates into what I want to talk about, and it's also another question, and you may take a second to think about it. Is there like a sporting event that comes to mind that with the new technology and the mediated sports world that we kind of live in right now that you really felt like the atmosphere and the experience was more enhanced due to it, or you just really felt a part of what was going on?
Yeah, I feel like we beef about baseball, so but whatever. But like when it comes to like thinking about a time before like the strike zone actually being on TV would like blow my mind. Like things that I feel like our generation would take for granted because it's been around for us, but like my dad will talk about like, yeah, like us like dogging on the umpires so much now, umpires, because like you can see like every little detail and that like makes it a lot harder for these things to actually like happen live and like not have so much controversy. And on the one hand, like I feel like we like to be in the know, but on the other hand, I also feel like like I kind of feel bad sometimes that we can see so much. So like I don't know what side you guys fall on that, but I feel like it's interesting.
Wait, I was got an example.
I mean, I guess another example I could say that like I guess like I forgot if it was NFL or like college when they did like the Nickelodeon stuff when they like partner with them to like try and push that. But I feel like that was something that was like enhanced because it was pushed like with like the slime and SpongeBob and all that stuff. So I feel like they were trying to maybe grab the attention of younger kids who watch Nickelodeon, but also like football and still have adults who like football, but kids who like Nickelodeon. Try and bring that together. I feel like that was something that was, I guess, an example of an event like that.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I think of is just three words: the Savannah Bananas. Like if they're the best at it currently, and they're not even like a professional sports team that plays in a league or professional league or anything. And I think they do a really good job. If you haven't gone to a Bananas game, go to a Bananas game. You really feel like you're a part of the team. But that's really just what I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah, that brings me to, kind of my question I have for y'all. I was just gonna ask, like, how do mediated sports organization and brands use fans like emotional connections to teams or athletes to drive like consumer spending? Like, what do y'all think about that?
I kind of feel like more so like on the media side that outlets are kind of taking advantage of fans' vulnerability during a game, especially if they're a fan of a team, and kind of promoting just brands connected to the team and then also like external brands that may seem like relevant to those viewers. And I think that that's one way that media or mediated sport is kind of leading athletes or fans to be driven to purchase a product.
Yeah, I feel like the more emotionally tied you are to a team, the more like inclined you are to financially invest in that team. So I feel like if there's a team that I would just cheer for because they're on the TV and I'm like, oh, I'd rather than like I'm not gonna buy into that team. I'm not gonna purchase anything from them. Whereas like if I'm a diehard Clemson fan, then I'm definitely more inclined to spend more money on like merchandise or just even pay more for a ticket because I care more.
Yeah.
And I feel like the media definitely plays into that, of like pushing your team on you.
Yeah. And that's how I was also gonna like, I guess, add on to that is like, where should like the line be drawn between passion and exploitation? Like, what do y'all think about that?
Money pondering right now. That's a good question.
I know that is a good question. I feel like that can be super subjective. I feel like if you're, again, if you're, I don't feel like you feel like, I feel like you're more passionate if you like that team, whereas like if you don't like them, you're like, why is the media trying like so hard to make me like this team?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would just be dependent on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of transitioning, thinking about like the future of mediated sport. I kind of wanted to ask, how do y'all think that mediated sport will impact socialization for young athletes? Because like the future generations, I feel like we're going to see a huge shift in sport, the activity itself, and kind of seeing more mediated sport activities. So kind of thinking about like participation wise.
Yeah. I feel like this could really like go both ways right now because like I do think about like the fact that media in general like might keep kids more sedentary. Like I could see that argument, but I also feel like a lot of kids see like mediated sport content and it makes them more excited about athletes and then they like want to become athletes more, which I was where I lean, I feel like, because I don't really see a decline like in kids being interested in sports because of mediated sport. I almost feel like it would create more hype for the kids and make them like more passionate about it, possibly.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. I feel like kind of going back what you said, Mallory, like for example, like when kids see like, like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and like how they like do the gritty and stuff, like, and they celebrate after they like get a touchdown. I feel like kids like love that so much. Like they almost want to go out there and play football just so they can score and like do the gritty or something. So I feel like it really impacts them in a positive way. So like it can get kids to go out there and, play more sports.
Chase, can you gritty?
I mean, I ain't done in a while, yeah, but I feel like I can. I feel like I can.
Just maybe like thinking of alternative scenarios. Like I do things more positive than there could be negative, but I know like me personally growing up, I always wanted to be just like an athlete, like a specific professional baseball player, but then obviously never got there or got to that kind of level. But so it could, there could be a little bit of an issue there, but I think like generally speaking, it is positive because, even though I don't play professional baseball, like I still like watching my favorite players and I still like appreciate what they did getting me into sports as a younger kid. And I think, I carried a lot of those good, traits and qualities and stuff over, to even not playing sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are some good points.
Yeah, that kind of segues into my topic as well. Like along the same line, but also like, do we feel like mediated sport is promoting healthy habits for children, or is there like aspects that could also, or is it more so unhealthy? Because I feel like healthy habits, yes, like athletics, being active, but also like, I don't know, like there's some unhealthy habits I feel like that can come with sport participation or lack of. And I'm kind of wondering what you guys think about that.
I mean, I feel like it depends on the sport. Like I feel like in some sports, like yeah, it's like, with I guess sports that ain't like I track and stuff, like all that is good for your body, like any like, sport that's doing movement and stuff. But then I also go into like I've seen YouTube influencers who like do a lot of weightlifting and stuff like this. And, they might be putting stuff in their body that might not be good for other people to put, like and eating crazy and stuff that will like catch up to you over time. So I feel like that can be negative for like a younger person looking up to that person. Like I want to go do weightlifting, but maybe they shouldn't be doing the same stuff that that person's doing. So that's what I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like the eating is a really good point. I didn't really think of that. But yeah, like this whole thing with like protein everything and like the carnivore diet thing too, like with a lot of lifters do that. Like I don't know, we don't really know the long-term effects of a lot of that stuff yet, so that'd be interesting. But also like yeah, like
Yeah,
like
more
creatine
keep
powders
working
that
up on that. Yeah.
like I don't know what's in that to be honest, but and then like there's the other side of like you look at gymnastics and like there's a lot of testimonials of girls that are like I've felt pressure to not eat very much and like I over exercise and under ate. So I don't know, I feel like there's definitely two sides to that too.
I just kind of think like, should we be concerned about like specific athletes that, kids may look up to, or just like give them full freedom to like pick their favorite athlete and want to be like them? Because, if I were to
Yeah.
pick someone who may have, gotten into some trouble or had some transgressions in their athletic career, but I just like them because, they score a lot of touchdowns or hit a lot of home runs or whatever, like where do you kind of draw a line there between that? That's just kind of something that I just that made me think about.
I feel like from like a media perspective, like at least when I was younger, I felt like athletes were always like the good role models from what more so like the media outlets were pushing out, I guess. And then I feel like now that social media is like different platforms, I guess, but like especially like Twitter is just like kind of not censored. It can, I feel like, would get kind of dicey because everyone has more exposure to like these athletes in their personal lives, and like if they make a bad decision, I feel like it's more blasted, which I think is like definitely a representation of like change of like how much more like media outlet there is now compared to like even when we were younger. Because I always feel like with gymnasts, I always was like, oh my gosh, these girls are so healthy, like they're so active.
Yeah.
But now I feel like everything is on the internet and everything is being posted on social media, and so I feel like it can just luck of the draw, I guess, of what you see posted that day.
Yeah, that's true. Um, just to round that out too, like, yeah, like the fact that everything's out there now for kids to see, especially like, I don't know, on one hand, that's cool. And like, I, as a like young person, enjoy it, but also like, you're so right. Like, in their actions too are also blasted, which like makes me wonder, like, if a kid sees an athlete get arrested for something, are they like thinking that that's cool? Like, I don't know, that might be too far. I don't know. It's just a possibility, and it's interesting to think about. So,
I feel like that
as
putting out more negative information than positive, 'cause I kind of feel like it is.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have anything to add last minute?
Oh, good. That was a good conversation.
Yeah. Good one, guys. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again at the Play Action Pod, episode number 3. We had a great time with our guests, super insightful stuff. And we were really grateful to have them on. And then Roundtable, awesome as usual. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.